Weekly, GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly. Need an answer to your question. John, you'll have a suggestion. Seems to bouncing up on knowledge. I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chat and give him a shout. Pete John, Pete John, GarageBand Weekly.
Yes, coming to you live here from Rattleade Studios for one more time with feeling here in the month of April 2023. My name is Pete Johns. This is GarageBand Weekly. On this week's show, how to clean up your stuff. Have you got a messy project file? Is everything in one folder? Are they all called My Song? It's okay. We've all been there, and I want to give you some tips and tricks that are going to help you quickly and easily clean up that messy GarageBand iOS folder. Also got the news and notes, and we've also got some wonderful live folks here ready to rock and roll. So if you're here live, say g'day in the chat. And if you enjoy the show today, thumbs up, guns up would be much appreciated. Hello to Princess LDG. G'day, Jade Star. Joe and Barry Glenn. Hello to you, Mark. Bro, the one and only Thomas Christ is here as well. Kihalu Rocks. Never say your name right. I'm absolutely sure of it. Hello, Many Vibes. G'day, Mix Club. And anyone who's just joining us, say hello. And we'll dive into things in just a jiffy. Yeah, programming note. Please take heed that, I'm taking a little bit of a break, but that doesn't mean that we stop rocking because we've got a bunch of pre-recorded shows. The newsletter will come out in around about 8 hours' time, so make sure you're on the mailing list, studiolivetoday.com/email. If you're on that mailing list, you'll get a lovely list of links to all of the shows that'll be happening throughout the month of April. You can just keep that handy, set yourself reminders, do whatever you like to do to keep up to date. But the very next show that's going to be happening is in fact going to be this one. Yeah, we've got one episode of the podcast, so YML will continue, and so Your Music Live, our show, as well as the Happy Hour, and I'm also doing one podcast, and then the podcast is on hiatus for a couple of weeks, and GarageBand Weekly is actually taking a couple of weeks off, so just so that I can have a little bit of mental health. I didn't want to have to work triple time in the last couple of weeks. I've had to work double time, but triple time sounded bad. But yeah, go and check this one out now. For the folks that are here live, I'm going to copy it and throw it here into the chat. It'll be down in the description if you're watching on the replay, but that's the very next show, and you can follow the bouncing ball from there because each show will kind of take you to the next show. That's the way it's going to work throughout that time, so you can go ahead and check that one out. And yes, if you want to help me buy souvenirs from the mysterious location that I'm going, feel free to provide donations. You can do that via Super Chats or Super Thanks on the shows, via YouTube or PayPal. And of course, you can become one of my wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/PeteJohns. All right, that's a lot of the admin out of the way. Now we can actually dive in to the content and talk about this week. So we've got a couple of things to chat about here in the news and notes before we get started. I've lost the link. Nope, there it is. We've had an update to iOS 16.4.1. There's a little video there from Zoltek. That's linked down in the description. You can check out what's new. What's new is not a whole lot. So you don't really need to do this update. There are apparently some little Siri flaws and some small security issues that have been caused by 16.4, which is always the case. If you're on 16.4, go to 16.4.1. If you're not on that yet, it's time to update because 16.4 did have some security updates and 16.4.1 has even more security updates. So if you are not in the middle, what do we say every time? Say it with me, folks. If you're not in the middle of a major project, it's time to update. If you've got 2 days left and you're doing your final mix, your final master of a project or something like that, don't update yet. It's not going to be the end of the world. Just wait a couple of days. Get it done as soon as you can after that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Mr. Smith is doing some cool things at the moment. I've got it linked down in the description. There you go. Mr. Smith, his live drum stream part 2 Electric Boogaloo is happening at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight UK time tomorrow. So around about this time, at around 22 hours, so a little earlier than this. So Wednesday morning here in Australia, Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday night, depending where you are in the world. And he's doing just amazing stuff. The first live stream, if you didn't catch it, was really cool. If you love watching a pro at work, Mr. Smith is an absolute professional drummer, and he absolutely destroyed in a good way in that first stream. And he actually asked, I reached out to him and said, congratulations, your first stream was amazing. And he said, oh yeah, thanks. And I said, look, if there's any of my songs that you want to drum along to, and he's asked for Sink or Swim. So I've sent that through. I only sent it through today. So I've said to him, don't rush. You're going to do plenty of these streams. Do it on a future stream. It'll be fine and dandy. Yeah, and in fact, I'll show you as we go through, when we get to the bit about the files management, I'll show you some of the things that I had to do to get a drumless version. It's very simple to do, but I'll take you through the steps, because it's part of the file management that you need to do in GarageBand to do a drumless mix down. It's not hard, but it's doable. There it is. There's the Mr. Smith drum stream that is happening tomorrow. The other thing I wanted to say, a big thank you to Jade Starr, who mastered my new song. So this lady here, there's her Patreon. I've got access to it because I am a patron. So I'm only a low-level patron, so I don't have all the cool posts. But if you want to join Jade Starr's Patreon, see, I call people Patreons, and then I say patron. It's Patreon. You're a patron of someone's Patreon. I know it's confusing as all balls. But if you'd like to join that, Jade Starr, patreon.com/Jade Starr. And what Jade does is she does a show every week, every Sunday morning or Saturday evening, depending where you are, and she does mastering of songs. And she has actually just mastered my song called 1%. Let's jump in here, because we've got a little bit of time today. It's only going to be a short topic, so we've got a wee bit of time here. Let me find where I put it. This is going to be the challenge. Oh, let's use the search functionality here in my Files app. I'm in GarageBand. Here's a tip for young players. We'll jump in here, make sure this is all working. I spent about 10 minutes this morning. It's related to the files management stuff. Here in GarageBand, trying to find files, not remembering that you can't do any of the file management stuff. Even though GarageBand, its file manager looks just like Files file manager, you can't actually do any file management in it. So don't make the mistake that I did of trying to do your file management here in GarageBand. You need to do it over in Files. So if you're searching for things, come over here. So let me just find this master of 1%. There it is. The 1% master. So you can see I've only just downloaded it, and I only managed to take a really quick listen to it. Oh, it's done that thing where it pops up. There it is. That was laggy. Uh-oh, we've lost it. We've lost the cameras. Can you hear me? Can you hear me coming through? Because my camera has frozen there. This one is still going. No, it's not. That's frozen. No, there it is. That's weird. This is I'm back. That was a new one. Did that freeze for everyone then, or was that just me? Okay, won't tempt fate. Let's have a play of this. So this is the mastered version. If you've been following through with the show, you saw me record this one. It's the one where I used the stereo miking techniques, and we recorded it right here in GarageBand iOS in GarageBand Weekly. So I think you'll agree the final master sounds pretty sweet. No, it doesn't sound that because it's disconnected itself. It sounds good. Oh man, it's given me one last little dose. We'll just unplug and replug. Go to the test pattern. Come back in here. It's given me one dose. It's saying we're not going to let you go out easy, Johns. We're going to make you work for it here, buddy. We're going to do our best to make life challenging. It's not coming back. This could be a really short show. Hello, Unethical. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the fun house, where things are not going quite to plan. All right, so that is not showing back up. We'll come out of here. We'll dismiss. We'll remove some of these sources. We'll stop the camera there, and we'll add it back in, and we'll plug it, unplug it, and reflug it back in. Otherwise, guess what? She's going to be a really quick show, because if I can't show you any of the file management stuff I was going to, it's not going to work so well. So let's come in here, and we'll go to our extra camera where it's doing the freeze thing again. It's doing the freeze. Yeah, the test pattern was very nice, wasn't it? Yeah, there's something fishy going on with the HDMI plug here. If you can still hear me, it's coming up, but yeah, it's got problems. Well, there you go. It needs a holiday too. Clearly, my HDMI extender needs its own little holiday. So this could just be a bit of a rant show. This could end up being a little bit of just a farewell, a fond farewell. But what we'll do, we'll unplug everything, because it could just be that we've got an overheating issue here, because these little suckers do overheat. So just talk amongst yourselves while we get this unplugged. We might be able to get the audio in a sec. Just going to turn it off over here and turn it back on. Yep. Nice gut shot. All right. We'll give it another quick go. It's definitely doing something weird here. Definitely doing something strange with the setup here, because every time I go to even try to add it, it gives me like, it says, it freezes and it glitches, and then it falls away. So yeah, we may be here for a short time, and I'll just let you know a few things about some things. Maybe I'll just play my previous file management show. I've got a video about file management. We'll just play that, and I'll provide commentary as we go. That could work. Got to work on the fly, don't you? Yes, this is what you definitely do. So do that. In fact, I wonder if we could turn this into a how-to show. What do we reckon? I do have a couple of spares of these. So why don't we see if we'll try it one more time, and then we'll see if we can swap it out on the fly. If I can find my additional ones, because I've definitely got a few of them here. We'll see if we can swap it out on the fly. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm actually going to send this master. So while I faff about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this master. I'm going to airdrop it from my iPad. I'm going to send it over to my Mac, and I'll play you the master of 1%, because it's pretty darn cool. And I think you're going to dig it. So that's been sent across to here. That way I can play it on my Mac. I'll show it in my Finder. Won't be much of a visualization here, so but we'll bring it up here, because I can still got access to my extra screen here, but I just don't have access to that. So let's open this one in the music player. That'll give us at least a bit of a background. Why doesn't the music player here in Apple? Does it have a visualizer? See, I'm going to learn some stuff here now. Because do you remember Winamp? Did anyone use Winamp back in the day? It really kicks the llama's ass. There should be some sort of visualization. Does anyone know? That would be cool. Like, why wouldn't you want... Because I guess you just want to look at the album artwork and stuff. But, yeah, Winamp used to be able to turn on that visualizer. Who was at parties in the 90s with Winamp playing in the corner? Was anyone else a nerd in the 90s and people play Winamp? Yeah, so it's not... It's not coming up there. So we'll just play this track. I'll do a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, but I think you'll agree that this this final master of 1% by Jade Star, pretty darn cool. When you open your eyes up to the sky above and see the world, there is nothing that you can do but close your eyes again, 'cause you don't like what you're seeing, and you don't like what it means, and you don't want to believe it, 'cause you're part of the 1%. When you open your mind up to the evidence you don't believe, there is nothing that you can do but close your mind again, 'cause you don't want to admit it, that you don't know what to do, and you don't have all the answers, 'cause you're part of the 1%. When you open your heart up to the people who need your help, there is nothing that you can do but turn and walk away. 'Cause you don't care, what can you do? And it's their fault anyway, and you just don't understand it, 'cause you're part of the one person. 1%, the master of my GarageBand tune there. Oh, this is looking more promising, isn't it? Okay, let's see. We got that. We got that. Let's see if it's going to give us sound as well as video. So we're in GarageBand. Let's go back out and play this master in here and see if this is working. Hey! Oh, except it's freezing again. So yeah, there's definitely issues that are beyond the actual scope of just this, because that's a stunning image. That's a stunning image of me with my mouth open. So what it's doing is it's freezing every time it's enabling it, and I don't know whether it's a StreamYard thing or whether it's related to. See there, I'm back. It just sits there for about 10 seconds and then comes back on in. So I'm going to try something experimental here. This is all very new, but it's good because when things don't work around, what I say about live shows is that they're good either way, because if you get exactly what you came for and it's smooth as silk, you're like, yeah, that's cool, man. But sometimes it's actually more fun if it's a bit of a train wreck, which is definitely what it's looking like being here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to restart the whole system, because this is turned from a how to manage your files to how to troubleshoot a problem with your live stream here. So what I'm going to do is jump on out here, but I want to try something. I don't know if this works, but I don't know if I start playing a video and then go out and then come back, will the video keep playing as the source? I don't think it will, but because it's stored locally on StreamYard, I'm going to try it. So I'm going to try and play. I've got Metheus World Divided here, so I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to try and leave the stream and reboot the computer and then come back. If it doesn't work, it'll go to a blank screen and I'll be back in probably about 2 minutes. But it's worth a shot, isn't it? How cool would it be if you could be like technical difficulties and have a technical difficulty screen to put up? I can play around with that in the future. But let's throw this up and I'll see if it's going to still play while I leave.
Vai, e 100. Hello everybody. Hello Manny. Ciao Emma. I am the guitarist of the Lily Pillies. I'm sorry I couldn't be online with the Manny for the Creator Town Hall. I just wanted to thank you all the support, especially to everyone that has taken the time to listen to our music. It has been an amazing experience again to play with Manny and create fresh new songs, having so much fun, very, very fun. And we want to keep creating more songs and videos, which we hope you will enjoy. Straight after Creator Town Hall, please join us for the premiere of the new video, Broken Angel.
Let's see. Let's see how we're going here. So I only have 2 videos that I could play, but we are back. Yes, we got the technical difficulties ticker going on there. I mean, come on, we got to play some World Divided. Let me know if we are back here. That would be awesome because I've had to go to a backup system here. I'm pretty confident it's a StreamYard issue because when I go to add the extra camera on StreamYard, it doesn't work. However, when I come in here and use my old method, which was using OBS, it's working. So I've got a feeling StreamYard have been pushing some updates. They probably pushed an update that caused it to break because it didn't seem to be working. So let's just come in here. We'll go in and make sure. So I was talking before about the sink or swim before I was really interrupted by technology. The sink or swim track. So I just did a drumless mix here. So all I did to do this was tap and hold on that one, duplicate it out to get this version, rename it as drums. So tap and hold and rename it as drums. And then in this track, all I've done is mute the drums. Now, yeah, you could do some changes around. You could change some volumes and things, but I've just left it completely as is, so that Mr. Smith can come in here and add whatever drums he would like to add to it. So then it was just a simple matter of exporting it out of there by just tapping and holding here, and then hitting share, and then exporting it as a WAV file. I then zipped it up, and then I sent it on over to Mr. Smith via Google Drive, which I've done and showed before here on the channel. But the non-drum version, mostly so I can test that my audio is working here along with the video, sounds like this. Nope, it doesn't sound like anything at all. Do we risk it for the biscuit? Let's risk unplugging and plugging back in and seeing if we're getting this. Yeah, Jade says, don't get any ideas, Mr. Smith, of stealing my Rollers Pete's drummer. I know, when he asked for sink or swim, I'm like, oh, should have given him something from the past. There we go. Let's turn on monitoring. Is this going to work now? Should have given him something that Jade didn't drum on to play with. Hey, we're back. Doesn't sound right, does it, without the drums now? It needs those drums. Alrighty, so I'm not going to change off this screen for the rest of the show because I don't trust that I'm going to be able to come back. But can I just get a thumbs up for those that are here live? Can I get a thumbs up that things are actually visible now and that you can actually see and hear what's going on before I dive in here and start talking about all sorts of stuff? That would be cool. Yeah. Thank you, Jade. Jade said already sent him a copy of the project. But yeah, I just pulled it out and I told him the BPM as well, and that it had 8 bars of lead in, because that's important stuff too. If you're ever sharing files, make sure the other person knows the BPM. Hello, Sights and Sounds are here. Tommy Jack Music, hello to you. Thank you, folks. Alrighty, let's. What I'm going to do is get my notes back up here, because I have to remember what I was actually about to do about 15 minutes ago before I was rudely interrupted here. All right, I'm just going to jump into my notes and we'll dive in just a minute. It was going to happen, wasn't it, that our final show would be something like this, where it would just be a bit of a mess, because it's like, yeah, farewell, bon voyage, Johns. Here, have some tech support to do. Question? This would have been a good place to put your question. No, I'll answer any questions. We'll have a chat at the end here. I'm gonna whip through this, because this is going to become a pre-recorded video of just how to clean up your GarageBand folders. So bear with me one sec. Hello, Mind Level. Thank you for being here. Bear with me one sec, and I'll dive into here and we'll set up And we'll record this section. If you're anything like me, you've got a whole heap of GarageBand projects and not necessarily in any particular order. So what we're going to cover now is how to clean up, what method I use, and a few tips and trips to help you tidy up your GarageBand folders. The first thing that I like is version control. I had a question about this just today. That is when you're working on a new track, wherever you're choosing to save it, use version control. So in my most recent song that I created here called Sink or Swim, you'll notice I've done exactly this. See how these all have numbers after them? 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to number 9. That's because every time I make a major change to a track, before I do those changes, I make a copy. This is because GarageBand has no version control of its own, and you're going to get yourself into trouble if you don't. So for instance, if I'm working on this song and I'm on version 9 here, what I would do is tap and hold on that one and hit the duplicate button, and that will make version 10. Then when I jump in here and start recording, it's going to be a new version, and I'm not going to mess up the previous one. If I make a complete meal of it, all I need to do is come back here and delete that one and go back to version 9. So always creating an extra version, a duplicate copy, can really help your organization. The other thing you'll notice here is that for each project, I have its own folder. So as soon as I start working on a project, I put it in my ideas folder. So here's my ideas folder, and I'll talk about this folder structure in a moment because this is kind of pivotal to it, but I wanted to go through some basics first. So my ideas folder is here, and you can see here, I haven't been taking my own advice because some of these have multiple versions of the same project in here, but what should be in this ideas folder is just one version of everything. I need to do some cleaning up here because I've got different versions of these projects, and this isn't good. So my method when I'm following my own rules is to come in here, create my idea, and then as soon as I'm ready to start working on that, to create a folder and put it into in progress. So from here, I've got an idea. Let's just say that I've decided that I'm going to make this track, Bad Moon Rising, that I was working on here. Let's ignore that third one. We'll delete that. I'm like, oh, I've started working on Bad Moon Rising. I've got 2 different versions here. I need to create a folder with this. So what I'm going to do is select, I'm going to tap on these 2, and I'm going to copy them. No, I'm going to move them. I'm going to move these out of that folder and into GarageBand for iOS. I'm going to move them into my in progress folder here. So we're going to tap. Now what we're going to do is hit new folder here, and we're going to type in Bad Moon Rising, because this is all going to go into this one folder. What we can now do is hit the move button, and there you go. That's moved those out of my ideas folder into my in progress folder. And again, I'm going to show you how I got these set up in a moment. Now we've got cleanliness, don't we? Now as I work on this project, if I come in here and I'm working on this and I want to make some changes and do some things, I can come back out and go, right, I've done a bit of work on that. Next day when I come back to do some more work, I duplicate it out, and all of those are kept in that one folder, ready to rock and roll. The other thing that I do here is once I've finished with a song, so I'm finished with this one. I've actually just finished this one. Jade Star just did a final master of it, and I've finished with this project called 1%. So all of these files, all the project files, and as you'll notice, even my final mix, my zipped up final mix files are all in this one folder. This can now move from in progress to complete. So to do that, tap and hold on this one, hit the move button, and move it to completed. Hit move. So again, you go in here, if you want to know how to get there, iCloud Drive, GarageBand for iOS, completed, and hit the move button. And that is going to put that in there with all my other completed songs. So it's basically, you've got 3 different things here. You've got your ideas when you're starting something, in progress is what you're working on, and completed is what's done. So what should happen is that everything in progress should just be stuff you're working on right now. In my case, it's not really, because I've got a bunch of stuff in there that I need to move around. But ideally, and when I finish my cleanup, what I'll do is I'll move any of these that are just still ideas back to the ideas folder. Anything that's in progress should get its own folder, like Bad Moon Rising does there, and anything that's completed gets moved to completed. I've got other folders in here, so let's now talk about my folder structure that I've got here. So I've got Songtember. That's something that I do specially around here. If you want to learn about Songtember, just search on the channel, #Songtember. We have a lot of fun every month doing that. But I put a 1 in front of my ideas folder because I always want that to come to the top here. If you look at your structure here, you can actually click on this button or tap on this button here, and you can do it by name, kind, date, size, etc. If you do it by kind, it'll put your folders at the top. If you do it by name, it'll again put your folders at the top there and have other files down there. So because you can come in here and you can separate it out by name, you can then come in here and see the numbered. So I've got ideas in progress and completed. These are my main projects that I work on here on the channel. I've then got one for background music. So that's the music I create to use in the backgrounds of my videos. I've got a miscellaneous folder for dumping stuff I don't know where goes anywhere else. The songs I work on for tutorials here is number 6. An incomplete folder where I dump things that are like, yeah, maybe I'll come back to this one day. And archive versions, which is all the stuff that I've completed and I don't really need anymore, but I'm putting older versions of those in here as like keepsakes. So there's a lot of different things that we have there. I've got a collaborations folder here, and then I've got a studio live today and a folder for my kids here. This bear folder was for a project I was working on with the artist Tremor Bear. That's actually been completed. So where should this go? Of course, it should be moved. So we're going to grab this, we're going to move that, and we're going to throw it into the completed folder. And that's the easiest way to start organizing things. Now, if you haven't done any of this stuff, if you've just got, so let's just say that you have your iCloud drive here, you've got GarageBand for iOS, and it's My Song 1 through My Song 127. What do you do? How do you get started? Well, I would start by putting all of those into a miscellaneous folder. So let's pretend that just these ones here, these are to be sorted. So what I would do is I would tap and hold just in a space here, tap and hold out there and you can go new folder, or hit this button up the top here. That's also new folder. And I would go something like exclamation mark to be sorted. And what this does is it just gets these out of your face to start with. So if I wanted to sort these ones, if we tap and hold and drag, can we drag a box? No, we have to select. So we'll go to the select button up the top here, select these, or you can go to more and you can actually select, can you select all? Yes, up the top there, select all. So you can select all of those if you had just different files here without the folders, but I'm going to select those, and what we're going to do is we're going to move them, hit the move button, and we're going to pop them straight in iCloud Drive, GarageBand for iOS, to be sorted. Hit the move button, and there you go. The idea of that is get everything off this front page. So make sure that you got nothing on this front page. Now, another tip that I'll give you here is when you start doing your file management, if you're in GarageBand, you'll notice that you can't do everything. And some of the things we'll show you in a moment, you can't actually do in GarageBand, like zipping up and archiving. And as you can see here by this, managing other types of files. So my first tip here for managing GarageBand is jumping out and going to your Files app. So Files is a completely different application. If you've actually got it installed already, if you drag down and you type in Files, it will be there, so you can actually tap on that. If you don't have the Files app, just go to the App Store and search Files. Now, this looks exactly like GarageBand, yeah? But you can do a whole lot more in here. So let's dive in and see what we can do. So once again, we're going to go to our GarageBand folder. Let's pause at this moment and tell you that there are 2 different places you can store your files in GarageBand. There is iCloud Drive, and there is on my iPad or on my iPhone. Here's why you want to use the iCloud Drive. If you store projects in your on my iPad in the GarageBand for iOS folder, here's what's happened. Nothing. It doesn't back up. It doesn't archive. If you install an iOS update that goes wrong, if your iPad or iPhone goes for a swim, these are not backed up. The only thing that should really be stored in here is this GarageBand file transfer folder. Everything else needs to be on your iCloud Drive. So if you're in the habit of coming in here and you're starting new projects in here, I would recommend moving everything over to your iCloud Drive and the GarageBand for iOS. Now, if you're running out of space, we'll talk about that in a moment, because you can actually archive some of these things, zip them up and put them somewhere else. I'll show you that towards the end as well. But in terms of your folders and your setup here, as you can see here, it's very, very easy once you're in iCloud Drive to go to GarageBand for iOS to create folders by clicking or tapping on the new folder button at the top there. It creates a brand new folder. To rename, tap and hold on that one, go down to rename, and you can call it whatever you like. So we've got all of these set up here. I recommend that sort of structure with your ideas completed, in progress, but you can decide to use whatever you like. But use folders, I would say. And when you've got them, put them by name so that everything is going to be nice and neat and tidy there. So what about this? I've got this random Logic project over here that I was just playing around with. Well, if I wanted to keep that, I could put it somewhere else. I don't actually want that. So we're going to delete it. And you will be deleting a lot of stuff when you start cleaning up. So we're just going to tap on that, come down to delete. That's gone, right? Well, no, it hasn't. Because when you're deleting things, you've also got to delete them from the recently deleted. Yeah, welcome to the world of Apple. If you delete something, you got to delete it again. So all the things that I've been deleting recently are not going to be here. They're going to be out here in this recently deleted. So all this stuff that I've been playing around with that I've been deleting in recent times, it's not freed up the space I thought it had freed up because it's still here. But it's simple. All you need to do is go to that recently deleted folder, hit select, hit delete all, and it's all going to go away. Make sure there's nothing in there that you want to keep. Don't be like a colleague of my wife's who once had IT come and they emptied her trash and she said, no, I store important documents in my trash. Please don't be that person. Let's go back to iCloud Drive, GarageBand for iOS. So in terms of the to be sorted, if you start doing this sort of thing, you'll come in here, you'll check out the project, you'll say, what the heck is this? What was I thinking? You'll play it. You'll realize it was some random thing you did on bass showing how you can turn your bass into a fretless bass. Very interesting. Am I ever going to need that project again? Heck no. So we can come in here to that to be sorted folder and we can delete it out. So tap and hold, hit delete. My song 2, this one's somewhere else. So I've probably created this somewhere else. See how it's got the little cloud icon there? This one's not actually even on this device. It's not going to be anything good. So if we delete it, we'll delete it from here. Now, this is a good thing to keep in mind. If you delete it from your iCloud Drive folder here, it is deleted from everywhere that has it on iCloud Drive. So think of iCloud Drive as a shared bit of storage. So if it's on your iPhone, your Mac, your iPad, if you delete it from iCloud Drive, it goes away from everywhere. If you want to save it, go to the device you want to save it on and archive it, that we'll show you in a moment, or copy it over. So let's just say, for an example, I don't want these on my iCloud Drive. This is this Z thing. I'll delete that second version because I definitely don't need that. But this is just that Z track that you get for free with GarageBand. I don't want this here, but let's just say I didn't, this is something special to me. It's not, but let's just say it's something special to me. What I would do is I would either archive it or I would move it. So if I wanted to delete this from the iCloud Drive, the first thing I'd do is come in here, tap and hold, and we would go copy. And then I'll go to on my iPad, come over to the, it's copying it onto my Mac too, that's weird. Come here to GarageBand, and this is the one time where I'd say, yeah, just paste it in here, because this is going to store it just on this device. Again, not going to back it up because it's just on my iPad, so this isn't being backed up, but it's just being plonked there. If you need to save iCloud Drive space and you've got plenty on your device, you can do this. Keep in mind, you only got one copy. We can then come back here, go to GarageBand for iOS, to be sorted, and we can delete it. So as I showed you before, tap and hold on that one and hit delete, or the other way is to hit select. Then you can either hit select all, or you can tap on individual ones, and down the bottom here, you'll have all these options, including delete. So that's sort of 101 in terms of doing this sort of stuff. What if, though, you don't have a whole heap of iCloud Drive storage? What if you haven't paid Apple the extra money for extra gigabytes and you're running out of storage and you don't want to lose the stuff, but you don't want to store it either? Well, that's where you can use archiving. So let's go in, let's find something we might want to archive. So we're going to come in here to my incomplete folder, and I've got these two songs here in my incomplete, Chickens on Howard Street and Dollar Coin. Now I'm going to have to download that. So you can see there that it's got the little icon next to it. So I'm going to have to tap on that one. See how it's downloading now? So it was on iCloud Drive. It's now downloading to this device, and it's going to open. So this is my amazing Chicken on Howard Street, one of the first songs I ever created. Amazing stuff, right? I was first learning GarageBand, and that's one of the first songs I did. We've also got this track called Dollar Coin, which is another one from the archives. I can't even remember what this one is.
If I had $1 coin for every time you...
There you go. Don't even remember that song. Sounds good. So we've got these two tracks here. I don't want to lose these, but they're taking up valuable iCloud Drive space that I want to free up. So what I can do is I can actually archive these. So to do this, what I want to do is hit the select button. I'm going to select the files that I want to include in my archive. And then the bottom right here, hit the more button. And we're going to hit, oh, hang on. What mistake have we made? Look where we are. See, I did that on purpose to show you how easy it is, even if you've been doing this for years, how easy it is to do that. We need to swap back. So we're going to go up. We're going to go over to the Files app, which has all the same things. Files would like to paste from files. Sure, files. You can paste from files. So we go to iCloud Drive here, back to that exact same location where we were, the incomplete folder. Now, select, tap, and down the bottom this time, you'll notice we have an additional one. We've got compress. So let's hit the compress button. It's going to create an archive. And by default, it's going to call it archive.zip. We can rename that. So we'll tap there. And I recommend doing this. So I'll say old GB projects. There you go. And now this zip file can be used and sent anywhere. So if you use Dropbox, if you use Google Drive, if you use OneDrive, if you use Drive, there's a heap of different cloud storage places that you can store this. You can also copy it over to a flash drive, to a USB hard drive, to another computer. You can airdrop it. So you can send this wherever you like. If you come in here and you share it, I can share this. I can airdrop this over to my Mac Mini immediately and have a copy over there. So once you've zipped it up, and the reason you want to zip it is that GarageBand iOS project files don't survive on other platforms. That's why I always say archive, because they just won't survive on other platforms. They need to be archived into a zip file first. If it ain't zip, just quit. Or something like that. What you can do now, though, is we don't need these original files, right? So we can select both of these and we can delete them. But are they gone? Remember, recently deleted. See, here's all the stuff we've just played around with. It's still there. But again, easily select, delete all, get rid of it. Gone ski, out of there, out of the park. So they're the basic functions. Just to reiterate here, here's my recommendations. If you want the just the facts version, it is create folders, have a to be sorted pile, and then sort them into those folders. Have one folder for an entire project. If you're working on it, use version control by tapping and holding and duplicating out projects. And if you're running out of space on your iCloud Drive, use zips. So zip up and compress and archive your GarageBand projects and store them externally outside of the Apple ecosystem. And remember, when you delete things, go into recently deleted and delete again. That's it. If you just do those things, those 5 things, you're going to have a much tidier GarageBand experience. And bonus tip, don't ever use my song. If you're starting a new song, let's say I come into ideas here and I'm going to use my template, because that's how we roll around here. Use my template, duplicate that out, grab this one, come in here. I'm going to record some stuff. Let's pretend I've recorded some stuff. We come out of here. The first thing you want to do, I don't know why it keeps dropping me out of there. Why does it? Oh no, it's not letting me move around in my projects. GarageBand has crashed. Well, isn't that just lovely? Yeah, this will happen sometimes, folks. Don't worry. Just go out and back in. You'll be fine. Turn it off and on. Hello, IT. Have you turned it off and on? Come into ideas. So the point I was making there is, as soon as you start a new project, the first time you save it, rename it. Trust me. If you just even if you just say funky idea, funky stiffs, funky idea with drums, like, just call it something that's not going to be my song. Otherwise, you will end up with my songs out the wazoo. So, a little bit disjointed, a little bit challenging in terms of the technology here today. But hopefully, if there's one thing you picked up from that, maybe it was archiving, maybe zipping up your GarageBand projects. And please don't try and send someone a GarageBand project outside of the Apple universe that's just a .band file, a GarageBand file. It simply won't work. It'll fail. It'll fail badly. Thank you, Tommy Jack Music. Yeah, I got to go too, folks, because we're gonna say our goodbyes. Can I come over to here? Can I come to the? Hey, there we go. Hello. I'm gonna go too, because, and hopefully you got something out of that one. I'm gonna go too because I actually have to record a Your Music Live today. So here's what's happening. We're going to be pre-recording. In fact, I've already pre-recorded one episode, and I'm pre-recording another episode today that's going to be available. I'll send you over to the first one here. If we come in here, we'll go. By the way, if you ever want to find my stuff, just search my name and then the name of the show. So if you came in here, let's just see, is this going to work with my screen now? Hey! So you can see there's the next live show that's happening all the way at the 1st of May or the 30th of April, depending where you are in the world. But episode number 148 has already been recorded. It's in the can. There it is. It's sitting there ready to be premiered. And I'll throw a link here in the live chat for folks if you would like to pre-save it. By the way, just a hint here, hint for young players. If you come in here, you can obviously hit the thumbs up button. I've already liked my own stuff, but you can set yourself a reminder. If you hit the notify me button, it'll put a notification on for that show. So if you're here live or if you're watching on the replay, go and find the show, Your Music Live 148, and play it there. And I think, do I have them in there? Yeah, look at that. We already know all the tracks that are being played there. So, oh, yeah, you can actually go and see if you're on the playlist. I will email everyone that is on the playlist as well, but it has been recorded, and the next episode will be recorded today. And I'll be letting folks know if you're on today's show as well. All right. Thank you for being here, everybody. Let's say goodbye to all the fine folks who are here. Goodbye to Thomas Christ. It will be very rad vacation coming up. Heading to Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo, Redmark, Mount Gambier. Where's it going to be? Burra. A lot of great places. Thank you, Gary Hubs. Thank you, Nuclear Roadblocks, Y2123. Thanks, John Barry Glenn. Thank you, Mark Bro. Thank you, my bro, Mark Bro. Thank you, Many Vibes. Russ, hello. Did Rena have a question? Did we ask it? Do you use tags? Good question, actually. I don't. So tags is another option that you have in here, by the way. You can actually, oh, look, I've dabbled in tags. If you check out my files, so if you search Pete John's iOS files, I actually talked about tags in that, but I personally don't use them. Maybe I should, because they're colored. Yeah, maybe you're right. But no, I'm a folders guy, not really a tags guy. Where was Rena's question? It looks like Rena and Thomas were having a chat about something. I'll go back and see if I've got. looks like Tom's answered. Question: I'm working on a Christmas ballad with flute and clarinet. Main instrument is piano, synth. I double the piano. Generally, would you guys, as a rule, double every instrument, pan left and right? No, not really. In fact, and you don't necessarily want every instrument left and right. That creates a kind of boring sound. If you've got two complementary instruments, so for instance, I had a song that had a clarinet and an oboe, and I pan one left and one right. You can often have guitar and piano. If you've got two different guitar and pianos doing sort of counter melodies, you can pan one left, one right. If you've got a synth sound and you've got another sort of keys type sound that are both in the same frequency range, you can pan one left and right. General rule, vocals, bass, and your kick and snare drum down the middle. Everything else is kind of up for grabs. So, yeah, you don't have to have, there's no rules, there's no set rules for where things need to be in terms of the stereo spectrum. So a bit of experimentation never hurts with that. But no, you definitely don't need to double everything. Vocals doubling is good. And guitars are great doubled, but yeah. That's all right. I'm not joining for the rest of April either. Alrighty, thanks everybody. By the way, the song 1%, we kind of skipped over it because it was when we're having the difficulties. I've given that. I'm not releasing that immediately because I'm handing that over. In fact, while I'm away, Jade, if you want to hand it to Russ, the final master, I'm happy with it. I approve. This master has been approved by Pete because Russ is doing his charity album and he's working away at that. So that's going to be my contribution to Russ's charity album, which he's working on at the moment and getting collaborations and people from all around the world and around the community. So that is where that one's going to go. Yes, absolutely. As soon as that door closes, everyone can go nuts and let the party be started. Alrighty, I've got to go and rest my voice for 10 minutes and then hit the record button and do an episode of YML. So wish me luck, folks. And until next time, which will be in about 2.5 weeks, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time here on Studio